Hello viewers, welcome to online course on Mathematics 3. This course basically for undergraduate student or a BTech student of engineering field. Today we are going to discuss about the integral domain and field of the chapter ring, field and integral domain in the module algebraic structure. This is my last lecture on the module 5. Myself Sanjay Vishwas, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Department of Applied Science and Humanities of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Here is my details of contact information. If you have facing any kind of problem regarding my online class, you can call me or send message through my mail ID, and my mail ID is sanjay.vishwas@gnit.ac.in. Before we start today's lecture, let's quickly lecture. So in the last lecture we have discussed about ring in the module 5 algebraic structure. So in the last class we have discussed about the definition of ring, and after that we have talked about the properties of ring as well as some theorem on ring, and then we have talked about the subring and some related examples on ring as well as subring. So today we are going to discuss about the integral domain and field, and this is my 8th lecture on the module algebraic structure. So here is the content of today's lecture. So at first we will discuss about the definition of integral domain and some related examples we will discuss in today's lecture, and after that we will talk about the introduction of field, and in that case where we will discuss about the definition and some related examples on field, and after that we will study on some theorem on field, and after that we will discuss about some related examples on field as well as integral domain. Let us begin with the definition of integral domain. So here is the definition. A ring is called an integral domain if it is commutative, it has unit element, and it is without zero divisor. So that means a ring is called an integral domain, and you know where the definition of ring, that means if be any non-empty subset and plus and dot be two binary operation, then f plus dot is said to be a ring if it satisfies if f plus is a abelian group, f dot is semi group, and the operation multiplication, that means dot, is distribution, that means the distribution law satisfied, then it is called a ring. So a ring is called an integral domain then if it is commutative with respect to the operation multiplication, it has an unit element, that means 1, and it belongs to f, and it is without zero divisor. So there exist two elements, say a and b, and it belongs to f, then a dot b, it is 0, and this implies either a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0, and this is the definition of the without zero divisor. Okay, so a ring is an integral domain. It is, that means the ring is said to be an integral domain if it is commutative, it has an unit element, and it is without zero divisor. So here is the example on the integral domain. So the ring of integer z plus dot. So here z is the set of integer, plus and dot be two binary operation, is an integral domain as the ring is commutative with unit element 1. So in a multiplication Z dot is a commutative. So that means there exist two elements, say 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 are the two elements, it is belongs to Z. So 1 into 2 it is equals to 2 into 1, as well as 2 into 3 it is equals to 3 into 2. So for all AB belongs to Z, A dot B is equal to B dot A. So Z dot, it is a commutative, as well as 1 is the identity element and it is also belongs to Z, and 1 is the identity with respect to the multiplication and 0 is the identity with respect to the addition. And there exist two elements whose product is 0, and this implies either first term is 0 or second term is 0. That means there exists, say, m and n be two elements, and m dot n it is equals to 0, and this implies m is equal to 0 or n is equal to 0. That means Z plus dot, it is commutative, it has an unit element as well as it is without zero divisor. This is the definition of without zero divisor. So Z plus dot is an integral domain. So there is another example. The ring Z6 of integer module 6 is not an integral domain. So as you know, in a Z6 there are 6 elements, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there exist two non-zero elements, say 2 and 3. Okay, 2 and 3 be two non-zero elements, and their product it is equals to 6, and 6 is equal to 0. You know that in Z6. As well as 3 and 4 be two non-zero elements, and its product, that means 3 into 4 it is equals to 12. And in Z6 and 12 is equal to 0 again. But 2, 3, 4, the elements, they are not equals to 0. So Z6 is a ring, but it is not an integral domain because it not satisfy the third property, that means it is not without zero divisor, it is actually the with zero divisor. Okay, so Z6 plus dot, where plus and dot be to binary operation, is not a integral domain, but it is a ring. So there is a theorem on the integral domain. For any positive integer n, the ring Zn of all integers module n is an integral domain if and only if n is a prime integer. Okay, so Z6 is not an integral domain, but Z5, Z3, Z2, Z7, Z11, Z13 are all integral domain, and as well as every integral domain is a ring. This is the theorem. But Z6 is not an integral domain, Z8 is not an integral domain, but Z of prime, that means Zp, where n is equal to say p and p be the prime number, it is an integral domain. Okay, this is the theorem. So here is the proof of the above theorem. Let Zn be an integral domain. Okay, so from this we shall prove that n is prime integer. So then 1 is not equal to 0 in Zn, and hence n is greater than 1. So if n is not prime, then n is equal to r into s. So if it is not prime, then we can write any number as a factor of two prime numbers. So here n is equal to r into s for some integer r and s, and where r and s are lies in 1 to n, that means 1 less than r comma s less than n, and then r dot s, it is equals to n, and n is equal to 0, you know that in Zn, but neither r nor s is 0 element of the ring Zn, and which contradict that Zn is an integral domain. So you know that this is not a definition of without zero divisor, it is a with zero divisor, so it is not a integral domain. So hence n is a prime integer. So if Zn is an integral domain, then from this we will get n is a prime integer. And conversely, consider Zn for prime number n, and from this we shall prove that Zn is an integral domain. So let x and y be two elements. This is the non-zero element which belongs to Zn minus 0, and so x is not equals to 0 as well as y is not equals to 0. So since x and y be a non-zero elements, that means it is belongs to zn minus 0. So x and y are the non-zero elements, okay, and it is not equals to 0. So now if x dot y is equals to 0, so then x y bar it is equals to 0, where x bar and y bar are the residue classes, and if x y bar it is equals to 0, that means x y is a divisor of n. So as n is a prime, so we have either x is a divisor of n or y is a divisor of n. So in that case, where n is a prime, so either x is the divisor of n or y is a divisor of n, and which are not possible as x is not equals to 0 and y is not equals to 0. So hence Zn is an integral domain. This is the proof of the sufficient part of the above theorem. And after that we will take a second theorem, statement only. A commutative ring R with unit element is an integral domain if and only if for every non-zero element A is belongs to R, A dot U is equal to A dot B, and this implies U is equal to B for all U B belongs to R. So in that case we can apply the cancellation properties. Okay, this is the second theorem on integral domain. So after the integral domain, we will discuss about the definition of a ring. So here is the definition. A ring capital R with at least two elements is called a field if it is commutative, it has an unit element, and is such that each non-zero element process multiplicative inverse. Then we say R plus dot is a field. So thus in non-empty set F with two binary operation, say addition and the multiplication, plus and dot, is called a field if F has more than one element and the following axioms are satisfied. So first axiom, it is F plus is an abelian group. So F is a non-empty set and plus is the binary operation and it is abelian. That means number one, that is A plus B, it is belongs to F for all AB belongs to F. So A plus is satisfy the closure property. Now move on the second property, that means associative property. A plus B plus C, where A plus B within first bracket, it is equals to A plus B plus C, where B plus C within first bracket, and it is equal. Okay, for all ABC belongs to F. So A plus is satisfy the associative property as well. Now move on the third property, that means there exists an element denoted by 0, and you know 0 is in capital F, such that 0 plus A, it is equals to A plus 0, and it is equals to A for all A belongs to F. So this is the definition of the identity element. So 0 is the identity element, so the identity property it's satisfied. And now move on the fourth property on the abelian group, that means to each element A in F there exists an element minus A in F, such that so A be any element in F, then minus A it is also belongs to F, and such that A plus minus A, it is equals to minus A plus A, it is equals to 0, where 0 is the identity element. And this is actually the inverse property of the group. So therefore A plus, but plus is the binary operation, is a group. So that means it satisfies the closure property, associative property, identity property, as well as the inverse property. And A plus B is equal to B plus A for all AB belongs to F. This is the fifth property, that means A plus is an abelian with respect to the operation plus. Now move on the second part of the definition of field. That means the subset of all non-zero elements of F is an abelian group with respect to the operation multiplication. That is, A dot B it is belongs to F for all AB belongs to F. So this is the closure property with respect to the operation multiplication. As well as A dot B within first bracket dot C it is equals to A dot B dot C, but B dot C within first bracket for all ABC belongs to F. That is the associative property and it's solved with respect to the operation multiplication. So move on the third property on the operation multiplication, that means the identity property. So there exists an element 1 and you know 1 is belongs to F. That is the unit element in capital F, such that A dot 1 it is equals to 1 dot A it is equals to A for all A belongs to F. So F dot is satisfy the identity property as well. Now move on the fourth property of the group or the abelian group. So for each non-zero element A it is belongs to F. Then there exists an element A inverse. So every non-zero element has an inverse. It is also belongs to F, such that A dot A inverse it is equals to A inverse dot A it is equals to 1, where 1 is the identity element. So F dot is satisfied the inverse property as well, and A dot B it is equals to B dot A for all A B belongs to A. So F dot is an abelian group with respect to the operation multiplication, and the multiplication is distributive. That is A dot B plus C it is equals to A dot B plus A dot C, and B plus C dot A it is equals to B dot A plus C dot A for all ABC belongs to F. So F plus dot, by plus and dot are the two binary operation, and F be any non-empty set and it satisfy, that means F plus is abelian, F dot it is commutative, and multiplication is a distribution. That means A dot B plus C is equals to A dot B plus A dot C, and B plus C dot A it is equals to B dot A plus C dot A for all ABC belongs to F. Then we say F plus dot is a field. This is the definition of field, and any field satisfy the following properties. And after that we will discuss some example on field. So the ring of rational number q plus dot is a field, as it is a commutative ring with element, and each non-zero element has a multiplicative inverse, and it is also belongs to Q. So Q plus dot is a field, and the ring Z5 of integer module 5, where Z5 is equals to, so element of Z5 are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a commutative ring with the unit element 1, and also 1 dot 1 is equal to 1, and that means inverse of 1 it is equals to 1, 2 dot 3 it is equals to 6, so in a multiplication it is equals to 1. So the inverse of 2 it is equals to 3, inverse of 3 it is equals to 2, as well as 4.4 it is equals to 16, that is and 16 is equal to 1, you know that in Z5. So the inverse of 4 it is equals to 4. So thus each element, that means each non-zero element has multiplicative inverse, hence Z5 is a field. And similarly we will prove that Z7, Z11, Z13, that means Z of prime number is a field, but Z6 is not a field. It is not an integral domain, so it is not a field. And after that we will discuss some theorem on integral domain as well as field. So here is the first theorem on integral domain as well as field. So every field is an integral domain. This is the first theorem. So here is the proof of the above theorem. Let F plus dot be a field. So here if be a non-empty set and a plus and dot be two binary operation on if. So if plus dot is a field, that means if is a commutative ring with unity, that means with unit element, and each non-zero element of if has multiplicative inverse. This is the definition of a field. Okay, so from this we shall prove that a plus dot is an integral domain. So let a be two elements and it belongs to f, and a dot b is equal to 0. So a be an element in a field f, then a inverse it is exist and it is also belongs to f from the definition of field. So therefore ab is equal to 0, and this imply after multiplying by a inverse on both sides from left we will get a inverse of ab, it is equals to a inverse of 0. Now using the associative property, so here is a field, so it satisfies also associative property. So a inverse of a into b it is equals to 0, and the right side it is equals to 0, a inverse into 0 it is equals to 0. And you know that a inverse of a it is equals to identity, and with respect to the multiplication the identity element is 1 and 1 is in f. So therefore 1 dot b it is equals to 0, where a inverse a it is equals to 1. So therefore b is equal to 0. So ab is equal to 0, then if a is not equals to 0, then from this we will get b is equal to 0. And similarly let b is not equals to 0, then you know from the field b inverse it is exist and it belongs to f. Again we take ab it is equals to 0, and similarly multiplying by b inverse on both sides from the right we will get ab into b inverse it is equals to 0 into b inverse, and again applying the associative property, then from the above equation we will get a b inverse it is equals to a into b inverse and is equals to 0, where 0 dot b inverse is equal to 0, you know that. And you know b inverse it is equals to identity. Okay, so where f is a field, so it satisfies this relation as well. That means b inverse b is equal to 0, b inverse it is also 0. So therefore a dot 1 it is equals to 0, and that means b a is equal to 0. So thus ab is equal to 0, then either a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. When we take a is equal to 0, then from this we will get b not equals to 0. And when we take b not equals to 0, then from this we will get a is equal to 0. Okay, so ab is equal to 0, and this implies either a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 0 in a field a plus dot. So hence the field has no zero divisor, and you know this is the definition of a without zero divisor. So thus the field f is an integral domain. So the definition of integral domain is actually a plus dot is a commutative, it has an unit element and without zero divisor, then it is called a integral domain. So the field a plus dot is satisfy the last property, that means it has without zero divisor, as well as it is commutative and it has an unit element. So the field f is an integral domain, hence the proof of the above theorem. But the converse part of the above theorem is not true. That is, every domain is not a field. That means every integral domain is not a field. That is, the ring of integers z plus dot is an integral domain, you know that. But not a field, as the inverse of each element, that means non-zero element of z does not exist. So the inverse of 1 it is equals to 1, inverse of 2 it is equals to half, inverse of 3 it is equals to 1/3, inverse of 4 it is equals to 1 by 4 with respect to the multiplication, but 1 by 2, 1 by 3, they are the fractional number. It is not belongs to capital Z, but Z is an integer number. So therefore the inverse of each non-zero element except 1 of Z does not exist. That means it is not belongs to Z. So every integral domain is not a field. So the converse part is not true. So after that we will take the second theorem on integral domain as well as field. Every finite integral domain is a field. This is the second theorem. So here is the proof of the above theorem. Let D be a finite integral domain with n element, and these elements are distinct. Say A1, A2, A3 and up to A. And since D is an integral domain, it is finite and it is a commutative using with unity and without zero divisor. This is the definition of a integral domain. Now let A is not equals to 0 and it is belongs to D. So consider n products, that means A dot A1. So A1, A2, An are the elements in the integral domain, that means D, and AB, any element, it is belongs to D and it is not equals to 0. Then consider the product A dot A1, A dot A2 and up to A dot A. Okay, these are the elements after multiplying by A. So all these are the distinct element of D. So they are all distinct. Suppose that A dot AI it is equals to A dot AJ for I is not equals to J. So then AI is not equals to AJ. So since D is without zero divisor and A is not equals to 0, then A dot A1, A dot A2 and up to A dot AN are all n distinct element of D placed in the same order. Since D has an unit element 1, so there exists a non-zero element, say AK, such that A dot AK it is equals to 1. And so by the commutativity, A dot AK it is equals to AK dot A is equal to 1. So therefore AK is the multiplicative inverse of the non-zero elements. A is belongs to D. Thus every non-zero element of D is invertible, that means has an inverse. So this is the definition of a field. So D is a field if it is commutative, it has an unit element and every non-zero element has an inverse. So the integral domain, and any integral domain it is commutative as well as it has an identity element and without zero divisor. So and from without zero divisor we will find the inverse of every non-zero element. And D is a finite integral domain, that means there are n number of distinct elements, they are finite, and from this we will get the inverse function, and that means the multiplicative inverse of all non-zero elements of D. Thus every non-zero element of D is invertible, that means has an inverse. Hence capital D is a field. Hence the proof of the second theorem of integral domain and field. So here is the definition of a finite field. A field having only finite number of elements is called a finite field. This is the definition of a finite field. So now move on the next slide. So in this slide we will discuss about some examples on field. So here is the first example. Examine whether the following sets form an integral domain with respect to the ordinary addition and multiplication. If so, state if they are fit. The number 1, the set of even integers, and number 2, the set of positive integers. So here is the solution of the above problem. Let E be the set of all even integers, then it can be easily verified that the set E is a ring with respect to the addition as well as multiplication. So in addition, that means E plus is abelian and E dot is semigroup, where 0 is the identity element and every element has an inverse with respect to addition. Okay, where E with the even number, so inverse of 2 is minus 2, inverse of 4 is minus 4. Okay, all are belongs to E, and 0 is an even number, you know, so 0 is also belongs to E. So E plus is abelian group, E dot is a semi group, and it satisfies the distribution property as well with respect to the multiplication. Also, the multiplication is a commutative composition and is without zero divisor, as the product of two non-zero even integer cannot be equals to 0. But the ring has no unit element. So E is a ring, that means E plus dot, where plus and dot be two binary operation, and E is the set of even integer. It is a ring, and the ring E is commutative and it is without zero divisor, but the ring has no unit element. That is, one is the unit element, but one is not belongs to E. So hence the set E of even integer is not a integral domain. But the set E is not a field, as the multiplication identity does not exist, and hence every non-zero element does not process multiplicative inverse as well. So it is not an integral domain, so it is not a field. Applying the above theorem, you get it is not a field. So every non-zero element has an inverse, and it has a unit element, then we say E is field. But one is does not belongs to, and you know one does not belongs to E, as well as every non-zero element does not have multiplicative inverse, so it is not a field. So set of integer, that means even integer, is not an integral domain, as well as it is not a field. So now move on the second part of the above examples, set of positive integers. So let n be the set of all positive integers, then 0 does not belongs to n. So hence the additive identity does not exist. So therefore n is not a ring. So therefore if it is not a ring, so it is not a integral domain in general. So now move on the second example on field and integral domain. So here is the example. Assuming that the set capital F of all real numbers of the form a plus b root 2 with a and b are integers form a ring with respect to the ordinary addition and multiplication, so that F is an integral domain. Is it a field? So here is the solution of the above examples. So let a plus b root 2, it is belongs to F, and c plus d root 2, it is belongs to F, where a, b, c, d are integers. So we consider two numbers, and they are a plus b root 2 and c plus d root 2. They are both lies in F. So therefore a plus b root 2 into c plus d root 2, and it is equals to, so after simplifying this we will get ac plus 2bd plus ad plus bc into root 2, as well as c plus d root 2 into a plus b root 2, and it is equals to, you know, after simplifying we will get ac plus 2bd plus ad plus bc into root 2. So from the above two equation we conclude that a plus b root 2 into c plus d root 2, it is equals to c plus d root 2 into a plus b root 2. So the multiplication is commutative. Okay, so there exist two elements, non-zero elements belongs to F, and the first element dot second element, it is equals to second element dot first element. So it satisfies the commutative property. That means the multiplication is commutative. And 1 plus 0 dot root 2, so it is equals to 1 and 1 is belongs to f. So hence the unit element exists in f as well. And a plus b root 2 into c plus d root 2, and is equals to 0 plus 0 root 2. It is the 0 element of f, and from this we will get a plus 2bd, it is equals to 0, as well as ad plus bc, it is equals to 0, equating the first and second part of this equation. So from this we will get this one. Okay. So from the first and second equation we will get either a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 0, or c is equal to 0 and d is equal to 0. Thus a plus b root 2 into c plus d root 2, it is equals to 0 plus 0 root 2, and this implies either a plus b root 2 is equal to 0, from the above you will get this one, or c plus d root 2 it is equals to 0. So thus the ring f is without 0 divisor, and it is also commutative, and it has an unit element. So therefore the set f is an integral domain. And after that we shall prove that it is filled or not. So next, let a plus b root 2 be a non-zero element of f. Then the inverse of a plus b root 2, it is 1 by a plus b root 2. So after simplifying this equation, we will get a by a square minus 2b square after multiplying by a minus b root 2 on numerator and denominator, and from this we will get this equation. Okay, that means and from this we will get this one. That means a by a square minus 2b square minus b by a square minus 2b square into root 2, and it is not belongs to f, as 1 by a square minus 2b square and b by a square minus 2b square are not always integers. Okay, it is either fractional number or infinity. When the denominator is 0, then it is undefined. So the inverse of every non-zero element does not exist in f. So hence f is not a field, but it is an integral domain. Now move on the third problem on this lecture. So let C be the set of all complex numbers of the form a plus ib, where a be two real numbers. And assuming that the set C is a ring with respect to the addition and multiplication, prove that C is a field. So here is the solution of the above examples, or this is the proof of the above examples. So let a plus ib be the complex number, it is belongs to C, as well as C plus id. So these two are the complex number are belongs to C, and where a, b, c, d are real numbers. And a plus ib into c plus id, and it is equals to the multiplication of two complex number, it is equals to ac minus bd plus I into ad plus bc, as well as c plus id into a plus ib. So from this we will get ac minus bd plus I into ad plus bc. So after simplifying this or multiplying these two factor, we will get this one. Okay, so therefore from the above two equation we conclude that a plus ib into c plus id, it is equals to c plus id into a plus ib. So therefore the multiplication is commutative in the complex number or in C. And you know 1 plus 0 into I, and it is also belongs to C, and a plus ib into 1, it is equals to a plus ib. For all a plus ib, it is belongs to C. So 1 is the unit element, that means 1 plus I into 0, it is the unit element of C. Next, let a plus ib be any non-zero element in C, and a plus ib into c plus id, so product of two complex number, it is equals to 0 plus I into 0. This is the unit element with respect to the addition. Okay, So from this we will get AC minus BD is equal to 0 and AD plus BC is equal to 0. And solving these two equations we will get the value of C and D. So from this C is equal to A by A square plus B square and D is equal to minus of B by A square plus B square. Okay, these are the values of A, C and D with respect to A and B. So from this, as A is not equals to 0 and B is not equals to 0, so A square plus B square it is not equals to 0. So A by A square plus B square minus I into B by A square plus B square, this is the complex number and it is a multiplicative inverse of A plus IB. And thus each non-zero element of C process a multiplicative inverse. So every non-zero element has an inverse and it belongs to C. Hence C plus dot is a field. The definition of a field. So now move on the fourth example on the field and integral domain. So here is the example. Prove that in a field F the equation A dot x is equal to B and Y dot A is equal to B have unique solution where A, be two elements in F and A is not equals to 0. Okay, so here is the solution. So from the above example we shall prove that the equation A dot x is equal to B have unique solution as well as Y dot A is equal to B have unique solution in a field F. So first of all we will prove that in a field F the equation A dot x is equal to B have a unique solution where A belongs to F. Okay, so here is the solution. Since A is not equals to 0, it is given, and if be a field, so A inverse it is exist in F. So from the equation A dot x is equal to B, we get, now multiplying A inverse from the left of the above equation, that means A dot x is equal to B, we will get A inverse dot A dot x it is equals to A inverse dot B. And you know that in a field A inverse A is equal to identity with respect to the multiplication and say E be the identity element. Okay, so E dot x it is equals to A inverse dot B and E dot x is equal to x, you know that, so x is equal to A inverse B. So this is the solution of the equation A dot x is equal to B. So that means x is equal to A inverse dot B is a solution. Okay, and now A is not equals to 0 and A inverse it is belongs to F. So from this we will get A inverse B that is belongs to F. Okay, so A inverse B is lies in the field F. So the solution is in the field F. Now we shall prove that this solution is unique. So let x1 and x2 be two solutions of the equation A dot x is equal to B. So these two solutions are distinct. Okay. So from the above equation we have A dot x1 is equal to B and A dot x2 is equal to B. So from this we will get A dot x1 it is equals to A dot x2. And from this equation we conclude that x1 is equal to x2, but A is not equals to 0. And applying the left cancellation law, so from this we will get x1 is equal to x2. So thus the solution of the equation A dot x is equal to B is unique and it is A inverse B. And similarly the solution of y dot A is equal to B is unique and it is B dot A inverse. Okay. Similarly we will prove that the solution of y dot A is equal to B and it is unique as well and the solution is B dot A inverse. Okay, so hence the proof of the above theorem. So after that we will take the fifth example of the field. So let F plus dot be a field and A be two elements in F with B is not equal to 0, then so that A is equal to 1. where a dot b whole square is equals to ab square plus bab minus b square. It is given. Okay, so this condition is given. Then from this we will prove that a is equal to 1, where b is not equals to 0 and b a field with two non-zero elements a b and they are belongs to f. So here is the solution of the above examples. We have ab whole square, this is given. Ab whole square is equals to ab square plus bab minus b square. So the above equation is reduced to ab whole square is equals to ab into ab, it is equals to ab whole square is equals to ab into b plus bab minus b square, and b square it is equals to b dot b. Okay, so now applying the associative property on that equation, we'll get aba dot b, it is equals to ab plus ba minus b. So in that case, where b as a common from the right of the above equation, so from this we'll get this one. Okay, so now applying the right cancellation law, and then from this equation we'll get a into b a is equals to ab plus ba minus b. So now you know if be a field, so it is a abelian with respect to the multiplication. So ab is equal to ba in a field. Okay, so a dot ab, so ba is replaced to ab, it is equals to ab plus, in that case we will take ba is equal to ab. So you know ab is a field and it satisfies the commutative property. So ab plus ab minus b, and it is equals to aab, it is equals to 2ab minus b. Again we take b as common from the above equation on the right side. Again we take b as a common from the right of the above equation. We get a dot a of b, it is equals to 2a minus 1 into b, where 1 is the unit element of f. Again applying the cancellation property, that means the right cancellation property, then from above equation we get a is equal to 2a minus a, and after simplifying this we will get a is equal to a plus a minus a, that means a minus a plus 1, it is equals to 0. And from this equation we get two factors, that means a minus 1 into a minus 1, it is equals to 0. And from this we will get a minus 1 is equal to 0, that means a is equal to 1. Now move on the sixth example on the integral domain and as well as field. So here is the example. In a field F, prove that a square is equal to b square, implies either a is equal to b or a is equal to minus b for all a b belongs to F. So here is the solution. And now you know a minus b into a plus b, it is equals to by applying the right distribution law. So from this we will get a minus b dot a plus a minus b dot b. Okay, and again applying the left cancellation law. So from this we will get a dot a minus b dot a plus a dot b minus b dot b. Okay, so and you know a dot a, it is equals to you know a square, and b dot b, it is equals to b square for all a b belongs to F. And you know F is a field, so it is satisfied. And a dot b, it is equals to b dot a for all a b belongs to F. So if be a field, so it satisfies the commutative property, that means it is commutative. Okay, so the above equation is reduced to a square minus a dot b plus a dot b minus b square, and after cancelling the term a dot b from the above equation we get a square minus b square. And you know a square is equal to b square, it is given, so a square minus b square, it is equals to 0. So a minus b into a plus b, it is equals to 0. So either a minus b is equal to 0 or a plus b is equal to 0. So field has no divisor of 0, so it is equals to 0 or it is equals to 0. So either a is equal to b or a is equal to minus b. So from the first equation we get a is equal to b, and from the second we will get a is equal to minus b for all a b belongs to F. Hence the proof of the above examples on a field F. So I'll stop here. Thank you.